Did Daddy Ass get a guns up or a pair of scissors to the back?
CEO. CEO.
Could the great Prince Wardlow dethrone the evil despot Samoa Joe? All that and more on this week's review of AEW Dynamite Big Business. Hit it, Dave.
Hey, Daver here. Welcome to the show.
Hey, this guy's Chad.
And Chandler's back as well. How we doing, Dave?
Oh man, we got a debut, didn't we, gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good time. What'd you guys think of it?
And
I'll let you two
2024
speak. I'll let you two speak first.
Let me just say, 2024 is shaping up to be quite the year for AEW so far, to me. Will Ospreay, Okada, Mone. Who are we gonna get next? I can't believe it.
I think he's gonna slow down. I think he spent a lot of money on these people.
Also, if I'm a free agent, I don't want to sign it. Like, how do you follow those three?
Yeah, it's like I'm not Okada, I'm not Ospreay, I'm not Monet. Let's see what TNA's got going on.
Do you think Triple H is kicking himself in the pants? In the
Well,
rear end?
we could have brought this up on the news, but funny enough about that, apparently Triple H of all people didn't know how good Ospreay was until he went to AEW and he started watching him, and he's like, "Oh, I think he's kind of like kicking himself because he was like, oh, I should have paid him all the money. I should have paid him way more money.
Yeah.
I could have had that guy."
Yeah. Here's the Brock Lesnar schedule. Just have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, what a great episode. But yeah, before we get into that, do we have any exciting news from WWE?
Again, it's like pretty slow moving. So the big one is it's going to be Sami Zayn versus Gunther for the IC title at WrestleMania. I watched that whole gauntlet match. It's pretty dang good. I probably don't want to get too much into it. How do you feel about that, Chad? Do you think it was Sammy's time, or like what's your mindset?
I do. If they had spent some time building Chad Gable's story, I think he'd probably be the guy to take it off Gunther because he looked great. But I think this is just the beginning of his story. I think he'll eventually get there, but I think Sami Zayn, like, he's just had years and years, like dating back to NXT, like just building to this moment where Chad Gable, I think they need to build him up a little more first. So
Yeah,
hell of a match though. Like that drama, the selling and that end sequence, those I was like every false finish, I was like, oh my, this is it.
Well, as soon as Chad Gable got in the ring and picked Sami Zayn up, he's like, I'm not winning like this. I want to go, like, this means more than anything to me, but I'm not going to win it like this. I thought that was like, oh my God, this is going to be excellent. But so WWE, when they book, they typically, in plans fail, they'll typically keep the winner, right? If they can. So look at Roman Reigns in WrestleMania 39. Roman was supposed to fight The Rock. So Roman was always going to retain. It was just like, oh, we'll put Cody into that. Whereas this, I think Gunther was always going to retain at Mania because he was going to fight Lesnar. And you shouldn't have Lesnar beat him. So I think Gable will be the one to dethrone Gunther. It's just Gunther's got to beat someone at Mania, and I think it's going to be Sami Zayn. So I think in that way, I like it. I think I would have preferred Chad just because I think it's his time. And it's not like if Sami Zayn wins, it's not like that's going to be a bad thing. Of course, it'll be great, but it's not what I wanted, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and like Sami Zayn is just, his selling is next level. Like every big match he has, I always think he's gonna die. Like he's just so good at selling, and watching him sell to Gunther is gonna be like when Daniel Bryanson came back and fought Brock Lesnar. Like that kind of uncomfortable. I might not. I'll have to like get up and walk away for a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pause this and watch it in 2 separate times.
Yeah.
But they also announced another big WrestleMania match for on Monday, which was a 6-pack challenge ladder match for the tag team titles. So a lot of people were pitching Awesome Truth, which is Miz and R-Truth, to beat Judgment Day for the tag titles, which I was like, I get it. It's the feel-good moment for two veterans, but I don't really want that. But I think if it's in the ladder match, it's way easier for them to win it. So I think that's a smart way of doing it. I think it'll be entertaining, and it'll be something that isn't on the card. Like, when's the last time we had a ladder match at WrestleMania?
Ooh. Yeah, it's
Too
been a
long.
while.
Too long.
Zack Ryder winning the IC.
I think it's the latter one where the Hardys came back. So I think that was 33.
That's right. Yeah.
Which it's funny, isn't it crazy that the Hardys returned to WWE only 7 years ago, and then they returned and they debuted in AEW? Like, those guys' careers go by quick.
Yeah.
And then so this wasn't announced, but a lot of big boys are trying to do it. They're calling for a Big E Meat Invitational match. So it would just be all the it's copying Meat Madness, but it'd be all the big boys who definitely aren't going to get on the card, but want to be at WrestleMania. So I think that'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
Like, sure, who cares that it's copying Meat Madness? They didn't do Meat Madness.
Yeah, no, give all the Hosses something fun to do, like what Ivar and
Bronson Reed, Otis. I'm sure Omos would be pretty entertaining in that. You could have Braun Breaker in there and have it be a big WrestleMania win for him. Like, you can do a lot with that.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, WrestleMania right around the corner, huh?
Only like 2 weeks at this point, which
Oh,
or like
boy.
3 weeks, which I'm like, oh, we're a month or two out from Mania. Nuh-uh. It's close.
Yeah. Got some plans for the weekend. Catch night 1 at a friend's house. Catch night 2 at home. It'll be good.
I still haven't requested it off. I think I'm gonna have to. No way I can miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, Chad, you got anything you've read about?
Oh no, it's been a nutty week. Just getting ready for St. Pat's. You know where I work.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. All I've got really is Miro Lana or CJ Perry. They have split.
Really?
After 7 years of marriage, yes.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't hear anything about that.
All those cuck angles finally got to him, huh?
I guess. Took a minute.
I mean, they were almost clearly visibly fighting at the Continental
World's
Classic.
End. Yeah.
Or World's End. Like they were pretty much.
I felt like that was building to a story or something. Like, oh, they're gonna work together and that'll be the end game. But they were like months away from divorcing. That's unfortunate. So I take it CJ Perry probably won't be on AEW anymore.
I don't know. I hear when Miro got injured, he actually went back to Bulgaria, so he's not even in the country right now.
I thought about it a little bit. I'm hoping for a situation like Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, where they were able to, in the end, work through it and incorporate it in an angle in TNA. Let's see. There was some like a weird Lita thing, right? That happened with
Lita cheated on Matt Hardy with Edge in like the early 2000s, and Matt Hardy ranted about it on like it wasn't social media; it was like a computer forum, right? Because that's how long ago it was. WWE found out and they fired him for ranting about it. People got mad because they were like, "You shouldn't fire Matt for that. You should just maybe have him delete it, like if you don't like it, right?" And then they hired him back and ran with the story. But they botched it because it was like a crappy 5-minute match and Edge won.
Yeah, but then it ended in a live sex show. So
fun fact,
we got that.
So that comes from, I know he's passe and bad, but that's probably that originates one of my favorite Vince McMahon quotes. Because I think Edge and Matt Hardy, because they had to do work, but obviously they hated each other. So they were bickering about something and they didn't want to do the match. And Vince McMahon were like, okay, you know that primal urge you feel to eat a person in a wheelchair or a disabled person? Well, you got to fight that back. You got to fight that feeling back right now. And they're just like, it was like so crazy and out of whack. They were like, I guess we got to work together. So
did we just become best friends?
It's awful, but it's also really funny that you would just say that.
Oh. uh, yeah. So I'm hoping they could move forward. Macho Man, Miss Elizabeth, uh, same thing. They were divorced, but they worked it out and worked together later.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hopefully that will be the case. Yeah, I think that's really all I got. News wise, kind of a slow week, slow few days. I do a lot of reading, but nothing really stuck out other than Lana, Miro, and the big debut. Let's go ahead and get to that Dynamite, gentlemen?
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Um,
Okay.
Dynamite. Oh,
Bigger than the debut. It's not Jera Hook like we all thought. It's Lion Hook. That was my
I like
first
that
note.
better.
Apparently, people hate this Jericho Hook union.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
he didn't really come across so much over the mics, but he was getting a lot of boos during the post match segment.
Sorry to just
Wow.
completely derail that, but like, it's funny how we're like, we don't like it, but we're okay with it. Like, it's fine. It's not awful yet. And everyone's like, no, this is terrible. This is just as bad as everything else. So, conflicting opinions.
Eh,
Yeah. Yeah, all right. We get the episode starting out. Big business, Boston, Massachusetts. Renee backstage giving a rundown of the card. A Mercedes pulls up and honks. The door opens. Ugh, we don't know yet.
I was so hoping
Uh,
for the Young Bucks. That would have been
would've been
such good heat where
good
they're like,
troll.
oh, we're showing up. Is someone supposed to be here? I don't know. And then it goes to her coming out.
yeah.
You don't want to
Uh,
overshadow her big debut, but that would have been really funny.
yeah. Um, yeah. So we get up on the Jumbotron, CEO Mercedes Monet. In all her glory, there she is, finally, after many months, long awaited, long overdue, finally all elite. Mercedes Monet. Good debut, great theme. I really enjoyed it. You got the chant built right in, so you can't mess it up. You don't know, or you can't not know when to do what you need to do. The only thing they didn't have is the bouncing ball
Right?
of CEO.
Mhm.
But yeah, great song. Got a big pop from the crowd. They're on fire. We got a lot of cheers. She gets on the mic. She says, "I'm home." You can see she's super emotional. She thanks the fans for hanging or having her back these last 2 years and beyond. If you are, if you only know or knew how much tonight means to me, how much wrestling means to me. She thanks Eddie Guerrero, which is a thing apparently. I don't know exactly what he has to do with her career. Do either of you?
That was
Uh,
the inspiration. Like,
yeah.
yeah, that was the person she saw that was like, "This is what I want to do for my life." For my life.
They mentioned it in every single Sasha Banks match, which is like Eddie Guerrero, her mentor, not mentor, Eddie Guerrero, her role model, Eddie Guerrero, her hero. So that's why when she was like, oh, and Eddie Guerrero, I rolled my eyes because I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
We all get it. But apparently,
I
some
didn't
people
get it.
didn't. Yeah, some people
Yeah,
didn't.
I bet a lot of people maybe. Yeah. She thanks Eddie Guerrero. He made her believe she could be a pro wrestler. She said she's the first ever woman to main event a pay-per-view in that same arena. And she dropped out at 13 to take care of her brother. She trained at Chaotic Wrestling, which is right down the road from there. She said she needs and wants to be there. AEW Revolution can be global, and she Can't wait to tear it up with the women in the locker room. She brings up Willow and their unfinished business. Uh, Mercedes Monet is all elite. Looks great. She's a star. The music is great. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a perfect debut. Did you catch? I'm pretty sure some guy yelled, "Go back to WWE where you belong." Did you catch that in the
Oh.
crowd?
Yeah.
I know some
Okay.
people online were mad that she actually debuted in AEW and not WWE, but for
Of
me, like
course.
I wasn't like counting on it, but I was like, oh, if she turns up in the Rumble, that's kind of a chance, right? And then as soon as she didn't, and I was like, oh no, she's like I knew it immediately. I was like,
Yeah.
MJF is in WWE, Mercedes Monet is in WWE, like, and I just kind of moved on because I was like, okay, it's not like I'm still not like I'm not going to see him.
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting. I'm okay promo. Her promo is has not always been the best. I'm really looking forward to her in ring. Hands down, probably the best North American female wrestler in the between the ropes. So, really looking forward to that. A few little subtle teases, obviously, a little bit unfinished business with Willow. And she kind of mimicked the DMD thing there at the end too with her CEO thing. So I think that's probably in our future too, hopefully.
I
Yeah.
wrote
Uh,
that down.
but yeah, no, this is one of the first times in AEW's history that I feel like they're not just trying to make a star; they're trying to make us like she's actually coming off like a superstar. Like I've been getting kind of back into WWE recently. Keep an eye out for our WWE wrap up later. And Shades of Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's packaging is phenomenal. Like she comes out, her music, everything is on point, and she comes off like Cena, Undertaker levels of superstar. Got the same feeling with her. Like they're really investing in her. So I hope that means like we're gonna get that change to the women's division. Like we're gonna get more. It's not just gonna be like one segment tonight still, and it's kind of like meh. Like I hope this is a sign of things to come. Maybe a fresh start, if you will.
I'm sick of that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear restoring the feeling. It makes me sick in my stomach. But one thing I noted from her promo was she said that she was the revolution and she kickstarted the revolution in American women's wrestling. That's not true. It was Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. Because WWE was never going to care about the women's division until Ronda Rousey came around. And they're like, same thing with Mercedes Moné and AEW, right? They're like, oh, we're spending like main eventer money on a women. Maybe we should care about them, right? And then Becky Lynch was the one that got nuclear hot and was able to rise up to Ronda Rousey and even kind of pass her. So
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from Sasha or Mercedes, but you're lying there and you know it.
Yeah.
She's a heel confirmed, heel turn
Yeah,
confirmed.
even before that, like the beginnings of it, Paige was
Yeah.
the one who like really was the first one to get hot. Then Nia Jax broke Becky's nose, got that picture, the very DMD like thing, just bloody face, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh geez, she's like at the time was the biggest thing, like
Yeah.
bigger than Reigns, bigger than Seth, like it was amazing.
There's a reason women main evented that year. And it was just going to be like Charlotte versus Ronda. But everyone was like, no, Becky, she's the best. And that's why Becky won.
Is that where the man thing came from?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed the debut. We kind of all knew it was coming, but they didn't. They did everything but say it. So
Well,
we
apparently Mercedes
understood.
Monet tweeted out Boston with $2 signs like 3 hours before the show. And I was like, Punk didn't do that. He wasn't like, time to go do my first dance. Like,
I think they should have full on announced her. Because did you see the ratings?
were they up?
They didn't move either way.
Well, I don't think anyone's ever called Monet a draw. Like, it's kind of like Adam Copeland. Adam Copeland was never a draw. He's a great talent, generational talent. He's not a draw. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate, but I don't think even if they had announced Mercedes Moné, maybe, and this is dumb, maybe if they announced it as Sasha Banks, because that's her more widely known name.
How long's it been? Like almost 2 years
Yeah,
of
but
Mercedes.
she main evented a WrestleMania as Sasha Banks. She didn't
Yeah.
like, not saying she hasn't done much, but she's been injured for the last year,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe if they announced they signed the Mandalorian.
Ooh, signed a famous Disney actor. Maybe that would have
Get
gotten some views.
get the Star Wars nerd segment in there. There's probably a pretty big cross section actually. Now that I think of it.
Yeah.
True. Cool. Yeah. Cool debut. Moving along here, we got a recap of the Joe Swerve tag match from, was it last week?
Yeah.
Collision
No, it was last week Dynamite.
and Dynamite. They you know, recapped Joe choking out Swerve and staring Wardlow in the eye. After that, we get Renee with Samoa Joe. Joe says Wardlow was sent forth by lesser men to pay for crimes he did not commit, or did he? He said Wardlow's debts are far overdue, and let's see, Joe doesn't lose championships in the Garden. Um, After that, we get uh, an Undisputed Kingdom Adam Cole video package. Adam Cole tells the story of Wardlow, MJF, and the Undisputed Kingdom as if he were telling a bedtime story to a kid. Only it ends with Wardlow winning the belt and giving it to his king. The prophecy became fulfilled and the kingdom became whole again. Um, we got, yeah, let's talk about this for a minute. What do you guys think of this little silly
I didn't hate it.
bedtime story?
My favorite part of it was all the like pictures of Wardlow around the house. I thought that was really funny where it's like, Wardlow, 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 Wardlow. But again, it's like they're not booking this group well. Because if they had been doing these a lot and they like had one for MJF before they beat him and like they were in masks or whatever, but if they did something like that for MJF, they did something for that for Orange Cassidy, it would be interesting. But again, it's like that Matt Taven death match. You can't just throw one kind of interesting and be like, fixed it. So it was fine. I thought it was interesting, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, I like the idea of it more than I liked the execution of it. I'm glad they tried something different and fun. But A, too little too late. B, we all knew what the result was going to be before it ever happened.
I
And
thought it was going to
C,
be like a
yeah,
DQ or something. I thought they were going to keep Wardlow a little protected, but color me surprised.
yeah. And yeah, it was like cool idea, good noble effort. That's what I'll say. You tried something, but I was just there's too much history. It didn't really hit. But hi, you tried.
Well, all that production and editing for it to be outclassed by a 90-second backstage Joe promo where he just goes, "I don't lose in the Garden," and you're like, "Okay, my bad. Sorry for asking. My bad."
Mhm. Yeah, I got Princess Bride vibes. The grandpa reading the story to Fred Savage.
Yeah, Columbo. Peter Falk.
Columbo. Yep. Yeah. So just let me say it out loud. The Undisputed Kingdom is now reading bedtime fucking stories.
The Devil Dumpling Gang.
I said the real word.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, Devil Dumpling reading bedtime stories. So they've I don't know what they're doing. Wardlow, get Wardlow out of there
Yeah,
and
get
we'll
him
be
to the
good.
Fed. Like he's done in
Yeah.
AEW.
Yeah.
I
I
don't think there's any
Yeah.
fixing him.
yeah.
I think at this point, if you had given him a DQ, you could have salvaged a little Wardlow, but he would do so well in WWE. They'd give him a manager. They'd give him like Paul Heyman.
I was gonna say he'd be the next Heyman guy.
Yeah, that would be so goddamn good.
Mm,
Well,
I'm with you, damn it. Wardlow's in rehabable in AEW.
kind of like
I d-
Cody. Cody could never recover his stank that he had in AEW.
he could have. He could have.
Really, you think
If
so?
he would have. If he would have totally turned complete heel,
But he was heel.
Darth Vader.
He was heel.
He. Well, he says that, but no one knew that. No one.
Being a
He didn't.
heel is not giving the fans what they want, and they all
It's a
wanted the
state of
heel turn.
mind.
He's playing bigger games than you think, Dave.
He's playing 4-dimensional chess.
Exactly. Don't question Cody Rhodes. He's the best ever.
Now that we brought him up, is there any credence to any ideas that people are saying it's kind of boring now?
Who's
His
saying
whole
that?
thing. I don't
Cody?
know. I just read it.
No.
Yeah, his whole like
No,
nothing's
he's
happened with it for weeks now,
no
and
things are happening. It's just like things we all knew were gonna happen. So it's like we knew at the press conference it was gonna be a tag team match between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. And then it took them doing a SmackDown segment where they said, it was like just to explain it all, it was an Elimination Chamber segment where Cody says, I want to fight The Rock one-on-one. And then go to SmackDown almost a week later. Rock went, no one-on-one. We'll have a tag team match. And then they went to Raw where they basically said, okay, on SmackDown, we'll tell you what we think. And then on SmackDown, like it's not Cody's fault. It's the writing. Like they're just kind of butchering
right,
it.
yeah.
Cody
Not saying it's his fault.
Cody gave an excellent promo on Raw. I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw like the YouTube clip of it. Basically, he was like getting emotional. He was like, and he brought up Dusty, but it was a good one because he was like, I can't give my belt to Dusty, but I'll give it to my mom, right? He didn't, The Rock didn't, because The Rock basically cut a promo and was like, your sister sucks, your brother sucks, your dad sucks, they all suck. And Cody was like, he didn't talk about my sister who was there for my dad when no one else was. He didn't talk about my mom. He didn't talk about this. Like it's a very emotional, impactful promo. So I was actually thinking the opposite. I was like, I'm a cynical person. How can Cody Rhodes keep me on the hook with all this like grandstanding and emotional swing? And I'm like, I get teared up listening to him. So he still got it. And I think the only way you could fuck Cody up again is if he loses again, which is always a possibility now. It's a bad one, but he could.
Flip the coin. Another headline, Conan Disco keeping it 100. Headline being the reason for Will Ospreay or people being over Will Ospreay already. And I'm thinking in my head, what? No
Who's
one's
over
over
Will
Will Ospreay.
Ospreay?
So that's kind of where I guess you got to think about it. Like there's going to be people coming up with these misleading Fox News questions. Like, we're not saying this is the case, but we're going, what if it is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, I guess that's kind of the flip side of it. Like, people aren't really tired of Cody, and people aren't anywhere near already tired of Will Ospreay after 3 weeks. So,
Yeah.
Conan and Disco are super haters on AEW because Tony Khan called Disco a parasite,
Well, I think Cody
and
Rhodes.
Conan's
I hate to say it, I'm on Cody
butt
Rhodes'
hurt.
side. Yeah. He basically was like, Disco Inferno,
Conan's
you've never drawn in your life. You don't have anything to say on this. So I hate to say that I agree with that guy. Which one main
Conan's
evented
butt.
WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Which one of the Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, Disco Inferno, which one holds a successful wrestling promotion that was able to almost sell out, whatever, Wembley, right? They were able to do the Wembley show. Which one of those guys main evented WrestleMania twice? And which one of them's Disco Inferno?
Conan's butt hurt because the AAA relationship isn't as solid now that the CMLL is in the picture too. So they have their motivations for being super critical of AEW, and then we got the Jim Cornettes out there who.
The only people I've heard of, like, and they're not over Will Ospreay, they never liked him to begin with because they feel like his matches go on too long and there's too many false finishes, which in the Takeshita match I was fine with. In the Kyle Fletcher match, it was kind of bugging me, but it wasn't awful. Like, the match was still fantastic. It was just like in the last few, I was like, okay, at the end of the day, this is Kyle Fletcher. Like, I love Kyle Fletcher, but it's never just like, oh, you can have a great match. It's always, what are we doing after this? Like, you're not going to push Kyle Fletcher. So why would you have this, like, it's dumb. Why would you have it to entertain the crowd? But it's like, why would it happen? But again, I'm not over him. I don't think it's bad. It's just that's why some people never liked him to begin with. And if it's taken to a abstract degree, I might start not liking it. But I'm not there yet. I'm not there anytime soon. I'm still excited for him. He still cuts a damn fine promo.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure. But yeah, let's get back to Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for that AEW World Championship. We got Wardlow bringing the attack right to Joe before the bell. Wardlow beats down Joe on the outside. Joe makes a comeback and shoulder tackles Wardlow to the ground, then an enziguri. Wardlow does a twisting senton on Joe and takes him to the mat. That thing looked really good. Wardlow outsmarted Joe with his little walkaway routine. He actually connected with it. Joe snap power slams Wardlow, covers for 2. Wardlow's knee buckles. The ref checks on him, but Wardlow was faking it and gouges Joe in the eyes. Wardlow gives Joe his little top turnbuckle knee maneuver and covers him for 2. Wardlow misses a senton. Then Wardlow power bombs Joe and goes for a second, but Joe gets the coquina clutch on Wardlow and chokes his ass out. Joe wins the match. Yeah, I don't know. Wardlow didn't ever look that good to me through the whole match.
No, he had a couple bits of kind of nice offense, but for me, it was just it was very dominant for Joe. And also, so you have this big grand opening, Monet's here, beautiful thing. And then this was the cool off segment. Your world title match was the fucking bathroom break.
Yeah. So I didn't bring it
What
up with
the fuck?
I didn't bring it up with Monet, but when she was like, Riho Willow is main eventing, I was like, huh? Why? Because it was literally last week on Dynamite, like, oh, by the way, Willow fight versus Riho, and it might be important. Like, that was it. So, but like, the match was great, and obviously you wanted to end with Mercedes Monet, but why don't you take that Jarrah Hook match and put it here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
That was a
just,
cool off, but I actually quite liked this match. I thought it was fun. But I can see what you guys are saying where Wardlow didn't really get to look good. Maybe they just don't have any plans with him, unfortunately, which sucks. But we're all thinking he's going to the Fed. So my favorite part of this match was just how Joe clutched up onto Wardlow and was like riding him basically. It's like we
yeah.
see Joe like topple people to the ground with that. And so the fact that he just looked so small on Wardlow and he still got him in the end, I thought that was a fantastic finish. And it's all building up for Swerve to break out of that coquina clutch because it's killed MJF, it's killed Adam Page, it's killed Wardlow. So I think it killed Hook. Like, that's all 4 pretty big names that don't lose often. Joe is beating them all with it.
Yeah.
And that'll be Swerve's big moment on hopefully Dynasty where he's able to power out of it and win.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
like I said, it was a fine match, but it just didn't feel like a world title match. It was just, oh, we're putting you after this big thing, and just, yeah, it kind of bummed me out.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is weird. Chandler's being the positive one, right? And I'm poo-pooing some
I
AEW
know.
stuff.
Here I am, like I actually really liked this match, but I get it. Wardlow didn't look that good, and it was the piss break match, which is disappointing. But
Yeah, I got a similar thing coming up here, but let's see. After the win for Joe, Swerve comes out. He fights security to get to the ring with a chain. He avoids. Joe avoids Swerve and walks to the back. Swerve is pissed.
you missed
Uh,
something. Joe kicked the little guy off of the stage. It was so amazing.
The best.
There was the security guard doing a oh, and Joe just was like kicked him right off. I was like, okay, Joe's the best. He should never lose. But it's Swerve. Okay, I need Swerve to win this stupid thing quickly because the longer this Joe reign goes on, the less I'm gonna want it to end. Because that happens with every single match where I'm like, damn, that was a great match for Joe. Damn, that was a great match for Joe. Why do I want this belt off of him? But trust the process. It's gonna be so good for Swerve. So I'm holding out hope.
all right,
Think we'll get it
Dynasty is gonna be.
I was gonna say, are we gonna get that as soon as Dynasty?
I
Yeah.
think so. Which
Gotta be.
they're selling it. So I think I said you only do the singles match once between them. You don't have Swerve lose. For the love of God, you don't have him lose. You don't have a DQ finish. And so then it's like, well, what do you do for double or nothing? And then I kind of was thinking like, well, what if that's Swerve Hangman 4? And that's where Swerve finally beats Hangman clean as a whistle. Which
Ooh.
I'd be pretty good. I think
Yeah.
if that's what they're setting up, I like that.
Then are we gonna get Swerve Osprey at Wembley?
I think that if I were pitching, if I had my hand on the creative notebook, it would be dream match at Dynasty, dream match at Double or Nothing, give them a good Forbidden Door match, and then when you're getting to that All In time, have them go, I've bloody beat every single one of your bloody stars. I've beaten Kenny Omega, bruv. I've beaten Brandon Danielson, bruv. I've beaten everyone. I think I want some gold here on my waist, bruv. Main event, All In, you and me, Swerve. How's it do, love? I think you do that.
I think
I'd be
that's
a fan.
verbatim. That's probably the promo right there too.
Hire me, Tony Khan. I'll write for Will Ospreay, aka I'll go. Just be yourself, champ. You got it.
You forgot Cheeky Slag.
Oh, you cheeky slog, you.
It's my favorite. My favorite. Oh my god. Cool. Yeah, that sounds like a phenomenal pathway for the AEW World Championship uh to follow. Yeah, good stuff. I agree we should only have Swerve and Joe one time. For the love of God, don't let Swerve lose one time.
I think,
Um
and like, I don't think people would give up on Swerve, but there's a lot of big moving parts in AEW right now. And Swerve hasn't lost his momentum. Swerve hasn't lost his overness. And I'm not saying he can't gain it back, but him taking a dumb loss, that'll do a lot of damage.
Oh yeah.
And it might make people go, Swerve, like they're not thinking like this, but if they're just gonna have Swerve lose and they're not having Osprey lose, well, I might as well just cheer for Osprey more because he's probably not gonna lose. So that's what I would think.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. Um, okay, let's see. After that, we get Alex Marvez on the back with the new elite. He asks Okada why he joined the elite. Nicholas interrupts and says his whole ass name is the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada.
It's on the
He read the
passport.
passport.
I've seen the passport. We've all seen the passport.
Matthew plays the good cop here and little calmer head says they've got 14 years of friendship and he can think of 14 million other reasons why he joined. Okada tells Marvez that it's Matthew's birthday. Matthew goes to wish, or Marvez goes to wish Matthew a happy birthday, but Okada says, no, 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 no. sing happy birthday. Oh, I loved it. So he sings him happy birthday. Uh, man, his English is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
I
that's
think
gonna be a big plus.
they're probably gonna have the Young Bucks cut most of the promos just because they're so entertaining, especially with their gimmick. And then Okada's, to compare him to Roman Reigns, he's the Roman Reigns of the Shield, where you have Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins cut the promo and they're talking all the line, and then you get to the end and Roman Reigns goes, "I'm gonna kill you, believe that." And so it's just gonna be that for Okada because he was literally like, "Eddie, Pac, Penta, you're done. I'm coming for you." So that was probably more than he said, but it's really succinct. It's great.
Yeah.
My only problem is they didn't finish the song.
Yeah. But man, he pulled off like menacing very well. Like I was like, oh yeah, no, he's gonna kill me if I don't do this. I'm gonna sing happy birthday and make a fool of myself on national television.
So aren't they balancing menacing and funny like to
Perfectly.
a T?
Perfect.
Like,
I can't remember when I hated the Young Bucks. You guys remember that? Now they're
Yeah.
my favorite part of the show, with Okada, of course. But even around the Sting retirement match, I was like, oh, these guys are good. They just haven't done anything good, but they are good.
Yeah, you came in at a rather unfortunate time
you
for the
did.
elite specifically, because yeah,
Well,
they just weren't doing nothing.
what's getting me excited is looking towards the future. This is obviously setting up Omega to come back. Omega's going to be the goddamn hero. He's going to
Yeah.
be an all-conquering babyface. So he's going to be phenomenal when he comes back. So
Do you think we're eventually maybe gonna get to see him and Osprey team up?
What? What,
we'll wait
Chad?
there. We'll wait. We'll wait.
What?
I was thinking Omega Okada
Tri-
team up against the
trios
Bucks.
trios bring Pangman somehow back into it.
We got time. We got time to figure this out.
Dude,
Oof.
Bushi will have to be involved.
Takeshita?
Yeah, please. Please, yes. Uh, but yeah, great segment here. Okada is so good. I'm thoroughly impressed with him at every level, everything he's done so far. Um, then after that, we actually get him in action. We got the Elite versus Pac, Eddie Kingston, and Penta. We got the Cody Vader. Uh, did you catch Nicholas kind of stumbled a little bit because of that damn smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened. I really like the coin drop. If they can time that out perfectly,
Like they did.
I mean, it was like milliseconds off, but it was, I mean, in my, you know, OCD brain. But yeah, that I loved it. Loved the actual dropping a physical coin. Good stuff. I liked Chad. Did you catch the cool little camera angle that they were shooting Pac as he came out of the tunnel from behind?
Oh yeah, that was badass.
Dude, that was cool. Um, please do that more, AEW. Tony, I know you're watching. Do that more, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
or switch it up for these people's presentation because that was really cool and it made Pac feel different and made him feel like a star. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah. I only said Chad because of his
Yeah,
uh
production brain.
Yeah,
production brain. Um, but yeah, let's see. We got Eddie and Okada starting it out. Not Okada tagged out to Matthew. Eddie tags out to Pac. Pac destroys Matthew Jackson. Penta gets in there and does a twisting Death Valley driver. I don't know. I'm sure there's a
Ding.
name for it, but he's done it a few times now, and I really like it. He does that to Nicholas and covers him for a 2 count. Eddie Kingston and Okada finally get in the ring to mix it up. Eddie chops Okada, and we get a high, beautiful drop kick to Eddie. We get Eddie Kingston isolated, then a hot tag to Penta. He gives Matthew and Nicholas each a sling blade and a DDT. Pac tags in and shotgun drop kicks Okada. Penta and Pac dive on the Elite on the outside. Pac does a 450 splash to Nicholas Jackson. He covers, but Okada breaks up the pin. Eddie taunts Okada to come bring it. Uh, he chops Okada. Okada DDTs Eddie. Each guy takes turns getting a big move in. Every guy in the match uh, alternate their big move there. Then Nicholas low blows Eddie when the ref wasn't looking. Okada hits the Rainmaker and covers for the win. Those cheating bastards. Love it. I'm okay with them winning. I don't give a shit. It was
Yeah.
a good match, and they won how a damn heel should win. So, bravo.
Here I was thinking, oh, Penta's in there to take the pin. Oh no, you pin the guy who's the champ, because that sets up the match next week, which Okada versus this is like you don't telegraph this kind of stuff, but they were like Okada versus Kingston for the first time, only defending the Continental Championship, and it's like, so Okada's gonna win it, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Which I'm okay with. I think that's gonna be entertaining, but I don't know what you do with Eddie Kingston after that, because like
By the way, though, just me, or is he like hitting the gym more or something? He's looking trimmer. He looked like he was moving better than he normally does. Like his in ring looks way better than normal.
yeah.
Maybe it's just because the company keeps like all those guys kind of have that ability to, like Kenny Omega have a 5-star match with a freaking broom. So
Yeah. I thought this match was phenomenal. I thought it was a ton of fun. Everything was just about perfect in that the Bucks were perfect heels. Okada was just a monster, but he was still taking great damage and great bumps. He made everyone else look great. So I thought this match couldn't have been done better.
Did you guys notice a couple moments where Pac was about to do like a big move, springing off like the ropes or something, and you could see it where he was like, okay, and like kind of, did you guys catch that a couple times? Was that
No,
maybe part of the story of ring rust, or was he really like
I'm
I
sure that's
caught it a couple
actual ring
times?
rust.
yeah.
And I think it's fine because he had a bad injury and was gone for a long time. So I think he gets to be a little nervous about
Yeah.
hitting those big moves.
Like those split second moments where he's like got his hands on the ropes and he just and then does it, like
Yeah.
yeah, he had a
Still
couple of
got it.
those.
It's been a
Yeah,
while
but
since
man,
I've watched Pac, so I just don't really remember his matches that well. So I guess I was like, oh, this is AEW Pac as opposed to WWE Neville.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy that drops the belt to Enzo Amore.
Don't. We're gonna move on. We're done talking about Enzo Amore.
Next segment.
Next segment.
no, but did anything about Pac Chandler stand out to you as compared to Neville or
It's fine. It was kind of a 6-man match, and so unless you're like Okada, it's kind of hard to stand out in a 6-man match. Like even the big 6-man Don Callis matches they had years ago, and it was like, oh, Kenny Omega and Paige and Ibushi versus Takeshita and Ospreay, and I was like, wow, that match was all right because no one really could do anything. He didn't really stand out to me, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't but I was never that big of a fan of Neville to begin with, so.
all right. Well, yeah, you're I'm looking forward to you finding a whole new appreciation for him
Yeah.
as Pac.
He's gonna have a match with Okada at some point, and I'm sure I'll be like, yeah, this guy's great. So just wait to that.
Yep, it'll be a good time. Cool. After that, we get a quick little Copeland and Christian Cage recap of where we are and how we got there. After that, we get a really great Will Ospreay promo. Man, I just wrote down here he's got this infectious energy. I know he said that about Danielson last week, but he's got it too. His theme music is great. It's kind of got a similar like it tells you when to chant his name kind of deal. Like really like it. Yep. He goes to each side of the ring and they know when to do it.
I think people just chant the whole time. I don't like. I was watching when he went to like the middle crowd, and people, like all the people on the hard cam side, were still chanting. So it's
Yeah.
really cute that they think the crowd will be like that. But like, nah, why would we wait? We're just gonna chant Osprey all the time because that's more fun. So if anything, he's too over. They're too impatient. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, then man, he is a super baby face. Why is he in the Callis family? He's got to get out of there
I know.
ASAP.
What if they're turning the Callis family face? You ever think of
Well,
that?
you notice how like they didn't have them involved in any of these promos so far?
Well, I think they're just gonna do the painless route, which is never mention it again.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, now we get him on the mic, and good lord, we already know, but now we're seeing it again. He says the match coming up with Danielson means so much to him. He puts over Danielson again. He brings up the Tiger Driver 91. Danielson asked if it was worth it. As the guy with blood pissing out of my head, and every time my heart beats, more gushes out. And as the one who won the match, yeah, bruv, it was worth it. Oh my gosh, yeah. Um, he said there's a phrase people are throwing around. Tony Khan knows it. The locker room knows it. Uh, restore the feeling, which is referring to a feeling that Chandler never felt, but me and Chad certainly did in early 2021 when things were popping all out.
Oof.
2021. Gosh, yeah, man. The debut of Danielson, Adam Cole. We just had Ruby Soho. Punk debuted 2-3
His first,
weeks before
it
that.
was his first match in AEW too, right? So there's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
that was AEW was white hot right then at that point.
Yeah,
So we're
that
wanting to
double
get there.
debut was mind blowing. Lights, because yeah, it's like, oh man, like either Cole or Danielson are probably gonna debut. Lights go off, the music hits. You're like, oh yeah, what was it? Cole first, then Brian.
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
So you're like, oh,
yeah,
it happened.
dude.
Okay, it's Cole. That's pretty badass. Then the lights go out again, and then Brian's music hits, and you're like, oh my god, that was just stupid.
Yeah,
By the
it was
way,
good.
speaking about hearing new entrance music for the first time, Chad, did you realize that Mercedes Monet's theme starts the same way Walter's theme did?
Yeah, I heard the comparison this morning, so I had to go through and listen. I was like, oh, that is Imperium.
So they know they're taking from the best because Gunther is the goddamn best.
Yeah.
um let's see here. So yeah, he says phrase being thrown around, restore the feeling. He looks in the mic or looks in the camera, gets on the mic and says, bruv, I am the feeling. Ah, yes, you are now. He
Oh,
is the feeling now. Like
he's my
literally
tribal
him.
chief. I
Whoa,
acknowledge
whoa, whoa,
Osprey.
whoa, whoa. We're going too far there.
People are throwing around he feels like the AEW Cody now.
I could see that.
I like that. I like that comparison.
Just the genuine,
Um
heartfelt promo and the great matches. So, yeah.
mhm. He says, it's your life or mine, and I don't plan on dying, bruv. My name is Will Ospreay, and I am on another level. Wow. Great promo. Going back to Triple H, probably being pretty angry that he missed out on this. Uh, yeah, Dave Meltzer was saying that Triple H had no idea how good he was on the mic. I mean, realistically, he really never got to shine like that in Japan either. So, seeing what he can do on American television, yeah, there's no way that Triple H isn't like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Um,
I was the same
Yeah.
way. Like, if you had told me, like, what do you think of Will Ospreay as a performer before this? I was like, well, he's the flippy guy, right? He can have a
Yeah,
great
I've
match,
heard he's
but
had great matches, but I haven't seen him a lot because they're New Japan. It's like, sorry, it's not super accessible to me.
and then they put a mic in his hand. It's like, oh no, no, he's not just a flippy guy.
No, and he's like, I watched his interview on CVV, and he's evolved. Like he's changed his health, his fitness, because he knows that's not sustainable. So like he still does the high impact moves, but he's way safer about it than he used to be. It's more measured, like kind of like Kenny Omega. It's more
Mm-hmm.
like it still looks amazing, but it's more deliberate, more measured now. It's not just he's not going to try to put himself into an early grave. Like he's taking his fitness and his health seriously. And
That's why that Tiger Driver 91 and that Forbidden Door match was so impactful, because they both planned it and they knew it. And they're
yeah,
like, yeah, we don't take stuff like that anymore. But they were like, well, this match is important, kind of needs it.
is that going to be, is that spot specifically going to be the story of him and Brian Danielson, the guy with the concussion issues?
I hope not, because I don't want to see it again. But if
Yeah.
Danielson can take it, okay.
Or they just tease it a bunch and he keeps finding ways to get out. Like
That would be
that
interesting.
just would add so much drama. Like that'd be pretty good storytelling.
And you make it like to kind of like beat those Will Ospreay false finish accusations. You could have Danielson just lose to that, because
Yeah.
it's like Danielson landed on a horrible spot for him. He's done.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got lightning in a bottle. Really great get for AEW. I'm really glad he ended up there. Apparently, I did read that the deal that AEW offered him, quote, was night and day, according to Will Ospreay. He got that Brock schedule. Basically, he's got to fly in for 1, maybe 2 days a week and get to spend time with his family. Great money. So yeah, they didn't offer him anything that he wanted to take.
Yeah, I bet whenever their contracts are up, I know they just freaking signed, but we're already talking about when their contracts are up. WWE is going to be like, all right, we're going to like take a quarter of the TKO stock. Here you go, Will Ospreay. You want in? Here you go. You could be on the board. Like they're gonna change their tunes now that they've seen what he's done, what they've seen Okada do, and hopefully with what Monet will do.
Yeah. Yeah, after that, we get a Deonna Purrazzo promo. Kind of a short and sweet one here, but basically she says, if you think this is over, you've learned nothing about the virtuosa. She says she will find a partner for Toronto for a tag match. And Deonna says, I suggest you watch for the shoe. It's headed straight up your ass.
I hope
Yeah.
Deonna gets Madison Rayne so she can spike her on her head again and have that be the move of the night.
Ouch.
I don't
Yeah.
want that. That's a joke, but oh my god, I still can't
It
believe
probably
that.
will be. It will be Madison Rayne now that you say that.
Oh no! Do anyone
Who do we want
else?
it to be? Who do we want?
Anyone else?
All right,
What
Mariah
about
May,
Rio?
Tony.
Former someone who lost. What about Hikaru Shida?
Yeah, Hikaru.
Oh, yeah, I want Sheeta.
Okay, I like Shida.
I want Sheeta.
Shida can
Absolutely.
take that pin.
Yeah, I'll always have a soft spot for Sheeta. She really pulled through during the pandemic, during the her title reign with no one in the arena.
Yeah.
She did the best she could do. But yeah.
She was our Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. All right, let's see. After that, we get Jay White versus Darby Allin. It's the first singles match for Jay White in 2024. And Darby carries a bat now. I like that. And he's going to climb Mount Everest here in a couple weeks. Still kind of like worried for him.
How's he gonna do that with a broken ankle?
Right? Maybe he really isn't going to do it. And this was his way to like Or he chickened out?
Well, I was like, you don't need to write. I get there's an angle, but you don't need to write Darby Allin off like this because he's got his excuse. But
Yeah.
no,
I don't know.
They're gonna sell.
I think it's just set up for him when he comes back. Now he's got a feud for when he comes back. That'll be white hot. Like he'll be gone long enough for like you sort of kind of forget about it a little. Then Jay White will have a match, and then all of a sudden he'll just do the old like Sting mask in the crowd or something, and just grab him, and you'll be it'll be epic.
that'll be pretty
Is,
good.
Dar- is Darby gonna be the first one to climb Mount Everest with a broken ankle?
Yo, he's going for a Guinness World Record. I honestly thought Darby was going to win this because they're like, hey, I know it's macabre and sad, but this might be his last match. Might as well go over on top. And then Jay White won, and I was like, well, I'm not mad because I prefer Jay White, and it makes more sense for Jay White. But I guess screw Darby, right? Like, it's really sad to think like this, but it's very true that this could have been his last memory in AEW, and it was him breaking up a group.
All right. So we got Jay White taking control, chopping Darby. Darby sentons off the top turnbuckle onto the floor on Jay White. Then does a suicida to Jay White on the floor. Jay White suplexes Darby onto a chair on the floor. Jay White throws Darby over the steel steps on the floor, and White misses a stinger splash at one point. Darby avoids two Blade Runners and counters into a stunner. Darby does a sunset flip to Jay White, covers for two. Jay White counters a coffin splash into a suplex. We get a big Uranagi to Darby Allin from Jay White. He covers for two. Jay White is looking visibly frustrated at this point. Darby gives Jay White a Scorpion Death Drop. He covers, only gets two because Jay White got his leg on the rope. Darby misses a coffin drop on the apron to Jay White. And then Darby beats the 10 count, but gets a Blade Runner from Jay White. Jay covers for the win. Jay White fakes a handshake to Darby and gives him the gun hand instead. The Guns attack Darby with Jay White and put his leg in a chair and is about to hit Darby with a bat when the Acclaimed run out and stop them. Billy Gunn takes the bat from Jay White and scolds him. Jay White hits Billy with a chair out of nowhere, and then the Guns hit the Acclaimed with the belts. Jay gives Billy a Blade Runner. They grab Darby again, smash his ankle in the chair with the bat, and Darby is hurt. Boo! No more Bang Bang Scissor Gang. Does that mean we get a title unification at Dynasty?
Probably.
Hope so.
See, here's my problem, right? Because it felt like in the segment they were setting up the Acclaim to turn heel and start beating up on Darby, and like again, if I were the one booking this, right, what I would have done is have the Acclaim turn heel, and then next week on Dynamite they go, "Why would you do it, Acclaimed? You're so nice and quirky," and they're like, you just basically tell the story of Jay White and the Guns seduced them to the dark side, and they got in their head, and they're like, "Hey, we want to," like, and you bring up that Devil Dumpling Gang story. You're like, "Hey, we want to go after the Devil Dumpling Gang, but Tony Khan won't let us because it's unfair. It's 6-on-4, whatever way you want to throw it." Like, you could do that where they're like, management's holding us down, so we're going to start killing everyone in AEW, starting with Darby Allin last week. We ruined his chances of going to Everest, and then you move on. But if things aren't going well for the Acclaimed right now, which it seems like they aren't, I think it's going to be a pretty decisive win for the Bang Bang Gang, and they're going to be the ones to unify the trios belts.
It's a good take.
Fair enough.
But this match is pretty good. I like that the Blade Runner's still very protected. I honestly thought Darby was going to kick out because he's got that great big Sting push, and But no, I think I'd still rather prefer it being protected. It's nice when not main eventers have protected finishes, like Baron Corbin. No
Yeah.
one kicked out of the end of days for like 10 years. So, like, that stuff is always cool. And so the fact that Jay White still gets to have it, that's pretty neat. But other than that, this match wasn't like phenomenal. It was just good.
Yeah, it was good, and yeah, I loved it. For me, like that's the turn and the beatdown was probably one of my favorite parts of the night on a very good show. I thought it was very well done.
Yeah.
I think I've said it before. Where shoot, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang were a bunch of bumblefucks. Now they are a legitimate. They've got legitimate heat. They're a hot heel group. AEW for the longest time felt like it was like babyface heaven. Like it was very the babyface promo. But now it's like you got the EVPs who are kind of have an interesting dynamic going. Then these guys who went from like a bunch of goobers, which then the Undisputed Kingdom kind of took that spot. And these guys feel vicious. They feel mean. They feel
Yeah.
like a threat now.
Isn't
And
it
this
funny?
is perfect.
Isn't it funny that when these guys were going for the world title, they sucked? But then Jay White left them for a month, and he was like, "Oh wait, no, Jay White's great. He's a great wrestler, great storyteller." Because he was all during the C2, and then they started working together again. I was like, "Wait, they're all great." And so it's just kind of weird how that's like changed over the course of time. And it's like, no, this faction is phenomenal. Their entrance might be the best in AEW.
Yeah, those air cannons they shoot off at the beginning. Woo! I love it.
Well, I like how everything goes so dark and it's just the one spotlight and to have the camera follow them. And you got the one taller buck. You have the one taller gun and he's all cool and acting suave. And then you got the smaller one and he's just yelling gibberish. And then you get to Jay and he's like, "Yeah, Mike, we're going to kill him." So I think they're one of my favorite bits on the show. They're like Takeshita.
Yeah.
They're really one of my favorite bits on the show. They're just not on the show a lot.
I think that's about to change, though. I think they just became a legit threat.
I'd be fine with that.
Did you notice any ass boy chants? Did they shake that for the time being?
We did. Can you believe it?
I'm good. I'm glad.
Maybe when
I'm
they're
glad.
heels again, right? Because that's just
Well, yeah.
that's a good chant. I'll be honest.
I thought it was gonna ring out when they did that. I
Right?
thought the whole arena was gonna be doing that. I was like waiting and waiting, and it just didn't happen.
It seemed like people were kind of confused. Like they were like, "Oh," and they booed them, but it was more confusion than anything.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Bummed out about the faction breakup, but looking forward to the title unification. And Jay White looked like $1 million. He'll have that belt maybe within 2 years, maybe 2 years from now.
Maybe it's so crowded right now with everyone. Like who? Like would Jay White be Osprey?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Well, then who beats
Uh,
Osprey? I know that's pretty
right,
far
right.
down.
Yeah.
But who would you have?
Danielson.
Really? Even though he said he doesn't want to win a title.
Give him a hot potato. Give him a hot potato
Jericho.
reign.
Jericho.
Uh,
Okay, let me pitch
Get it
this.
to Okada somehow.
I know we're talking about that would actually be good. I know we're talking about Jericho and how this Lionheart presentation isn't that bad. I think it's because we're finally getting to Jericho's retirement because he likes the idea of beginning how you ended it. So he
Oh,
began his career as Lionheart. Now he gets to end his career with Lionheart. He began his career doing stuff with Taz. Now he's going to end it doing stuff with Taz's son. And what's Jericho's last match that he's been wanting for years? Does anyone know?
No.
It's Lance Storm because they were their first match together, and they
Oh
wanted to be
my
their last match
God.
together. And like a year or two ago, Lance Storm was doing an interview. I want to say with CVV because that guy gets everyone. And he was like, "Well, like, what are the odds of that actually being Jericho's last match? And like, do you guys have a time frame?" And all Lance Storm said was, "He's got like 2 years to do it before I'm done forever. Like, not even coming back for a retirement match." Like, so I think Jericho's winding, like he's getting to the end of his career.
Interesting.
Man, that match would just ooze with Canada.
Well, you'd have to do it in Canada. You'd have to do it in Winnipeg.
All right. I'm bookmarking this segment. When
I'm
when
just-
that comes true, we're replaying it, being like,
Well,
super genius.
I don't even think it's like super genius. I think it's just they know that they've said it for years that this is what they want to be their final match. And it's just Lance Storm, the fact that he's like, yeah, he doesn't have that much longer. And maybe Jericho's taking all this negative criticism. And the reason he hasn't changed is he doesn't have it in him anymore. Like, he doesn't have a new gimmick. He doesn't, like, maybe his body can't take being off for a Fozzy trip and then coming back. So
True.
he's like, I think this is the end. And he wrestled Atlantis Jr., which we all didn't like that match, but it basically went back to one of his first people he ever fought in CMLL.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
Yeah,
here
man,
for it.
full circle.
long
Full
as that-
circle.
The
I'm
Rock
gonna be
is going to
watching
come into
every
AEW.
Jericho segment now with a new eye. Like, ooh, is this it?
I don't know. When I was thinking about all this, I don't think it's going to be retiring this year, but like in a year or so. And I think, he'll probably see all that phenomenal goodwill that Sting had for his last match. I know they're different, but hear me out. He'll see all that goodwill the Sting got, and he'll go, if I retire, I'll get that, which
If I do it soon,
I don't know if that'll be the case, but we'll see.
man, I don't know. But yeah, let's get into the match. How about it?
It's
Yeah.
fine.
Uh,
It's okay.
uh,
Crowd was dead.
apparently they're called Lion Hook, not Jera Hook, but I'm okay. I like Lion Hook. I'm okay with that. I'll allow it.
I'll be the contrarian and say I prefer Jera Hook, but that's only because I came up with it. So
All right, Lion Hook versus Gates of Agony, Toa Leona and Bishop Khan. We got Gates of Agony overpowering Lion Hook and isolate Jericho until after Picture in Picture. Jericho makes a hot tag to Hook. Hook lariats Khan and then T-Bone suplexes him. Hook hits a high bridge Northern Light suplex on Khan, and then Toa breaks up the pin. Hook suplexes Toa Leona somehow, and Jericho slams Toa Leona's head into the ring post. Hook gets the red rum on Khan, and Jericho gets the lion tamer on Khan too. Jericho has to break the hold to drop kick Toa Leona out of the ring one more time, and looks like Hook choked out Khan and got the win. Good enough match. It was. I think I'm kind of understand in my own little way what a popcorn match is to me. This is like what that was. Just boom, boom, things happened. Like it was fun. Jericho being kind of the more humble, like veteran now and like all about respect and stuff is super tolerable. And yeah, didn't mind it at all.
well, Jericho's at least knowing his stuff a little bit more because he was the one getting worked over by the heels, and he built up that hot tag for Hook, which is nice. And then I'm kind of struggling with this match because there wasn't a lot. I thought the Gates of Agony looked great. Like, this match made me appreciate them because I'm like, oh wow, these guys are pretty dang good. And then that dual submission spot they did, which was like Hook had the red rum and Jericho had the lion tamer. That should have been the finish. That was pretty badass.
Yeah,
like, they
that
could
was
end a lot
good.
of matches like that. And then it was like, no, we got like 20 more seconds left in this match. Don't you worry. How'd you feel about it, Chad?
Yeah, Dave kind of put the words right into it. Popcorn match for me. I didn't hate it. It was a Jericho match, and I didn't hate it. So we got that going for us. I like Hook. I kind of I want to see him get into a serious feud, but this was fun. Then we got him and Jericho coming up next week now, so
Yeah.
that'll be kind of neat. Maybe, hopefully,
It's like the Bang Bang Gang winning the Ring of Honor Trios titles, right? Is that what I would book right now? No, but at least they're on TV. At least they're doing something, right? Like, if this works out, Hook will get a rub from Jericho, which is not bad. Like, Hook is great, but he's nowhere near a main eventer.
No, not yet.
But maybe this will start building him up to one. So I feel like we're the only three people that are like, yeah, it's fine. We'll take it for now. Everyone else I hear is like, I hate Jericho. I want him to leave. I want him to retire. I want him to be done. And here we are like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm around.
Yeah, I don't know if he like legitimately learned a lesson and this is the Jericho we get from now on, who's kind of humble and a little more soft spoken, kind of fine with it.
I'll never forget Takeshita tapping him out to his own move. I have that for the rest of my life. So
yeah,
you'll always have that.
No matter what they do to Takeshita, he got to tap out heel Jericho in the middle of the ring with his own move.
Yeah, I either want the humble Jericho or I want Wizard Jericho. I'm a wizard and just shooting fireballs.
I don't know if I could take that right now.
It was good. It was good, Chandler.
Well, I think didn't Jericho have a run with the Ring of Honor World Championship, and people liked that? So I think Jericho can have good runs. We just weren't watching one for a while, and now he's like, okay, I'll have a good run again.
He could probably settle into that TNT title at some point before he retires for a little run. What do we got? TNT title, Continental,
TBS.
I don't want him beating anyone that has that title or is in that picture. Because, like, when you said TNT, he shouldn't beat Christian. He shouldn't beat Adam Copeland. He shouldn't beat Danny Garcia, who I'm not giving up on yet. Like, and then anyone else isn't in the picture. So that I don't like. Even like the international title, I wouldn't have Roderick lose to him. Like, no. And then you got the world title, obviously not. The Continental Crown. What is he going to beat Okada? What timeline would that be if Jericho beat Okada?
Jericho takes the TNT off of Jarrett, who took it off of Copeland.
So it's the senior title now. It's the geezer title because it went
Christian.
Dude.
Ah!
All right. Did you know they announced Kyle O'Reilly versus Brian Keith for Collision? It'll be Kyle O'Reilly's return match in 2 years.
Yeah. We got Renee backstage with Kyle O'Reilly. He wonders if he can still hang. He calls out Brian Keith for their match on Collision. Roderick Strong walks up and says, you want to do it on your own? You do it on your own. And they hug. And then it finally sinks in that he's going to be on his own, and he looks worried. Cool.
Is
Yeah,
this going to save the Devil Dumpling Gang? Kyle O'Reilly?
Man, I don't know. I just don't know how they're going to...
He's the catalyst.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really invested. I don't want to even spend too much time worrying about where it could go. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm at a very superficial level with this. This is my first Kyle O'Reilly match, and I like Brian Keith, so we'll see. I'm sad that Brian Keith is still losing, but we'll see.
Yeah. Maybe the only thing that I think I would like would be if Roderick and the Undisputed Kingdom were full of shit when they said they respect him and love him and are going to let him do it on his own. Maybe they come out and help him win and he gets mad. Okay, now I'm formulating.
Maybe we'll wait for Collision.
Something.
We'll see.
Man. Yeah. I'm not into it that much. I like Kyle O'Reilly. I almost just want to keep him away from the dumplings.
Yeah.
So
I was watching some other people and they're like, well, what, like, we were pretty down on the Devil Dumpling Gang, like, immediately. Like, I think early on in that set, we were like, these guys suck and they're going nowhere. But people were like, no, 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 no. I like Adam Cole. I like the music. We'll give them a chance. Now everyone's where we're at, where it's like, oh, they suck. This is irredeemable at this point, especially with Wardlow losing. So, like, what do you do? And a lot of people are like, well, you have MJF come back. And it's like, that guy still can't wrestle either. I don't know what
Yep.
that would do. He shouldn't be wrestling injured. He should be gone until he's healed. But and then that's the same thing with Adam Cole. Adam Cole shouldn't be around. He should be gone until he's healed.
Yeah.
I will say he's done irreversible harm by being wheeled out like a invalid
You wanna
Dr.
talk
Clown.
on
about
national television.
you wanna talk about people going back to the Fed as soon as their contract's up. I think Adam Cole's gonna be one of them. Especially like I think he was a big Triple H guy. Triple H loved him. So I think he'll go back to WWE.
I mean, but why? Like nothing that happened is Tony Khan's fault.
I'm not saying it is, but how can he recover from this?
Yeah. I mean, I think no matter where he went, he's done some harm, or where he goes, he's
I
already
think
done harm.
Well, look at like CM Punk, right? He got fired for getting into a fight at the biggest stage AEW's ever had. It almost ruined the start of the show. And he came back to WWE as kind of a hero. Like people still know, but he's turning a new leaf in WWE. So I think Adam Cole and Wardlow could do the same thing.
Oh,
Potentially.
I gotta interject. Before we went on the air, I was watching YouTube and Booker T was doing his podcast, and apparently him and Punk almost got into it at NXT. And he's like, that's all I'll say. And he told his co-host, he's like, I'll tell you off the air
Like
what
recently?
happened. Like last night or 2 nights ago or whatever.
What? I didn't hear anything about that.
So I'm waiting for something to break about that.
But Booker T's kind of full of crap. He could have just be saying that for clicks. It's Booker
Yeah.
T. I don't.
Yeah.
I do know
Yeah.
that Booker T and Punk have issues because, like, way
Ooh.
back in like 2008, Punk first joined, and he was like, oh, he was kind of big timing, which Punk was kind of in the wrong. He was like, oh, I'm the locker room leader. People respect me. People look up to me. Da 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 da. And like, I think Booker T just took his bag and emptied it and was like, what are you going to do about that? Or he like took Punk's glass. Like he did something to like test Punk. So there's always been uneasy waters between the two of them, but I hope it doesn't lead to anything bad because I want CM Punk to work this time.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna laugh while it all burns down. I
No,
love it.
I think if Punk got into a fight, I don't think it would really affect anything because he hasn't done much in WWE since he's back. Like it'd be disappointing, but
You know they gave him a zero tolerance in his agreement. Like
which is
you
why he's
cannot.
like, I've grown, I've changed, I'm a different person. No, they just don't. They're not gonna put up with your bullshit. They're not your biggest fan like Tony Khan.
Mhm. Yep. You know for a fact that if he does anything physical, there's probably certain levels of verbal abuse that are banned from him doing.
Well, again,
Like,
think about him calling out Adam Page. Like, and it was a shoot. He was like, Adam Page, you suck. You should come out and fight. And Page wasn't there. So he's like, you suck because you're not going to come out. You're a bitch. So they're probably like, yeah, none of that. Everything you say, it's not scripted, but you're going over it. And if you say anything one way or the other, you're done. You're fine. You're suspended, whatever. So,
yeah, you can't tell me that they didn't make that clear, crystal freaking clear.
mhm.
So yeah, I'm interested. I want to see the whole thing burn down.
I
I'm
know.
a CM Punk anarchist. I
I
want to see it
know.
all go down.
I still respect
I'm
him a
gonna
little bit. I still like him a little bit.
I want to be the I told you so WWE.
No.
Yep, I have no respect for Punk. Like he didn't even like the last part of his run in AEW. Like I really wasn't that into it. Like he didn't do anything the whole time to me that was like great. Like he had some good promos with MJF. Uh, but I mean, he was getting in fights and messing up buckshot lariats. Like and
The Joe
breaking his
match at
foot.
Wembley was pretty damn good. I'll die on that hill. It was a
It
pretty
was okay.
damn good
The
match.
collar match was good with MJF. Um, but yeah, man, he's jumping into the crowd and shattering his foot. Like that's what I take away from it.
Yeah.
But anyway, uh, yeah, let's get back to Dynamite. We get a little recap of Willow and Riho's accomplishments, which I thought that was cool. Like they put some extra into that, giving us a little background and giving them their flowers. We got Riho backstage, kind of getting ready and stretching and whatnot. Mercedes walks up, introduces herself, and says she's looking forward to her match and shakes her hand. Uh, then we get Renee backstage with Lion Hook. Uh, Jericho said Hook showed him he's a future world champion and he needs to know more. He wants a match against Hook one-on-one, and Hook says, "Let's do it." That match will be on Dynamite. Do you think we're gonna get some shenanigans? Is Jericho gonna go left field here and
Jericho's gonna put
heal it
over
up?
Hook
And
clean. Jericho's gonna put over
okay,
Hook clean. I think this
my
is a last attempt at Jericho to gain some fame and courage back, and so him losing clean to Hook, I think that'll be what he's want. But I was gonna say, but the women's thing, right? It was a fantastic like video package, right? Why didn't this match matter until tonight, guys? Come
True.
on, like. Did they come in and they were like, oh yeah, so right after you do your thing, we're gonna have Willow and Riho come out and they're just gonna do their match, it'll be fine, it'll be over, and then we'll get to everything else. And then was Monet like, it's not gonna be like that this time. So like, oh shit, we gotta put something together. So like, why didn't you hype it up on Collision at all? Why didn't you? Because again, it was just one backstage segment last week where Willow was like, oh yeah, I'll be fighting Riho and it might be important. So it kind of annoyed me because it felt like it was, oh, this is big business. This is the women's night. We got to care tonight. And then, like, as soon as we get to Collision and Dynamite, it'll be back to normal. So I liked it, but I wish it happened more. Like,
Yeah, hopefully this is like the start of something and we start getting that because but yet again it's like wait and see, right? Like is like because honestly like I was thinking the same thing when Soraya came in, like, oh, is this the turning point? It was not. So
I'm glad
you got to
Soraya is.
show it.
I'm
You
glad
the,
Soraya is nowhere near this Monet thing. I hate to say it. I think if Soraya was wrestling Monet, she would bring Monet way down. I think Willow's a great first opponent. I think teasing Britt Baker's smart. I think her potentially going for the TBS title is really smart. So
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
they're setting up some stuff that's pretty smart for now. Because I would say my biggest thing is like you don't have her go for Toni Storm because they're building this Mariah May thing for Wembley. Because Mariah May is going to beat her at Wembley.
cool.
Yeah, I'm glad they got her in the TBS title scene, uh, the way they did. Uh, but yeah, like so. Oh yeah. Well, first off, I had a weird bad feed in my Hulu.
Same.
Uh, it just like totally wasn't. I didn't have any picture from this point until we got back from picture in picture. Into
Really?
the match. So I don't think I missed a lot from the beginning of the match to picture in picture. But let's see, I got where I came back was Riho gets pounced across the ring by Willow. Riho hits a foot stomp on Willow on the floor. Riho hits a dragon suplex on Willow on the apron, then a stomp for a 2 count. Willow hits a Dr. Bomb on Riho for the win. Yeah, I don't know what happened before that. Uh, but yeah, so Willow wins. The lights go out, and it's Julia Hart on the ramp. Sky Blue is behind Willow, and she chop blocks Willow, and then they attack Willow. The crowd starts chanting CEO, CEO. Sky Blue gets taken out, and then Julia gets a moneymaker from uh, Mercedes Monet. Uh, Willow holds up Mercedes' arm, and Mercedes does her little CEO dance that I already love. Um, yeah, like they may have unfinished business, but they still respect each other, which is okay. I'm okay with that. That's kind of like why, she held up her arm. Um,
Yeah, no, I mean,
so
like when her ankle broke mid match, it was her decision to put Willow over and put the title on her because she was not supposed to win that match. And that is very like New Japan's like all about stay the course, stay the course. Like they kind of went into business for themselves, and like so clearly, like there might be some like kayfabe stuff, but I think like there's probably no ill will towards them. They're probably like, it is what it is.
Yeah. I thought the match was pretty good. You're telling me about missing something. The only thing you missed was during picture in picture. Tony Schiavone kind of lost it for a second, and he was like, "Look, I'm stuck out here with a sour guy and a guy who wears a sock on his head. So give me a break." So I thought
Nice.
that was pretty funny. And Taz was just like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know that's how you felt about me." And Tony was like, "I'm sorry, but you're sour. I don't know what to tell you." But I really liked the finish of this match where it was Riho got Willow in a really nice looking jackknife, and then Willow went for the gut wrench to the Doctor Bomb to the finish. The only thing I really didn't like about this segment was why did Willow raise Monet's hand? She didn't wrestle. I know it's kind of like dumb for me to get caught up on this, but like Monet's the bigger star. She should have raised Willow's hand because it's like, wow, good job. You won the match. You're great. But it's like, oh no, Monet's the star. Everyone else sucks. It's all about Monet.
so it's Mercedes night, and she saved Willow. Like
But Willow
I don't
won the
know. I
damn
see it.
match. Willow won the match.
Yeah.
I get it's Monet's
Yeah.
night, but Willow won the match. Willow just wrestled.
Uh yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's I just didn't like it, but it was a great
yeah.
match.
Yeah, dude, Rio is crushing it. Like, hopefully she'll be around more permanently
I think Rio's done. I think they used her for what they needed
Um,
to. I think she's gonna disappear again.
for 2, 3 more months. Damn it.
But she was great. She
Uh,
looked great against Chris Statlander last week. This match with Lil was great, but
yeah, she can go. Love Rio. Um, yeah, so we got a big debut, a little different than the uh Punk debut. The setup was very similar. They never announced the debut, but it was highly teased. But they kind of diverted here by having Monet come out at the ending segment, which they didn't do with Punk. So yeah, I thought it all worked. It all fit. Monet, like they presented her like a mega star. Like it's not just another Mariah May or Deanna Parazzo or
even a
Ruby
Soraya.
Soho. Yeah. Yeah, this is a seismic shift in the quality of the women's division at this point. So, um, man, I'm not opposed to maybe Ronda landing in AEW at this point. Why would you be against it?
Because
Let,
I've
let me
seen
let
her
me
in
know, Chandler.
WWE and it all falls apart. She stops caring. She puts in no effort, and she just it's unboring. She'll give a promo where she basically is like, "I don't care about this company." She didn't care
Yeah.
about WWE. I know it's stale and whatnot, and it's kind of stifling, but I don't think AEW is going to be an improvement for her. I don't think she's going to get what she wants.
Yeah.
I think she's just done with
yeah.
combat sports, entertainment, whatever. I think she's just done.
Wish Paige Van Zant worked out. Like she never did anything. She was a big signing, and then boom. When the Dan Lambert stuff died.
Oof. Oh,
Yeah. I don't
so bad.
I don't know what happened. I'm sure it wasn't good.
Um, yeah. You want to talk about highs and lows?
Yeah.
Cool. High point for me. I'm gonna be real generico and go with the way they debuted Mercedes. I think it worked great. It resonated. They made her feel big. They made her appear that this is going to be, a game changer, hopefully. So, yeah, loved it. Low point for me, gosh. Um, Adam Cole, we bedtime stories.
I think that's fair. If I were to give, for me, my highs and lows, my high would be Okada. I thought he was booked to perfection that night. I thought he was awesome. I think he's going to be so good for AEW, and I can't wait for him to win his first championship like 2 weeks in. Like, I'm hyped. My low point, I don't really have one. Like, even though I wasn't wowed by the Monet debut, it wasn't bad. Like, I'm not like, oh, she's going to be terrible. So I feel bad giving that my low. So I'll just say there wasn't enough Takeshita on the show.
Nice.
I think that's going to be my default. Like, the show was pretty good. Like, I don't really have anything. So I'll
Could have
just
used more Takeshita.
could have used more Takeshita.
I actually did hear a critique that people were like, it was a great episode, but they wanted Moxley. I was like, huh.
Where? I'm saying the Takeshita thing is a joke, but where? That is
It's just
true.
things I come across.
They won the tag team match at the pay-per-view, and FTR was back before them. So, in a way, why did they win if they weren't going to be there?
Yeah, we are getting the tag bracket revealed on Rampage, I heard too. I read.
Cool.
So we'll
How
find
about
that out.
how about you, Chad? Highs and lows.
My high for me, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang turn. I loved it. Like I said, I don't think AEW has had a lot of compelling heels. Like they've had some, like Swerve before he kind of did his face turn for me was up there, but I feel like these guys can be it. They can be like the faction where I'm like, ooh, this is what I wanted the Devil Dumpling Gang to be, just vicious and kind of scary. Low for me was their treatment of a world title match. Didn't feel important. Didn't have a good spot. Didn't really have urgent booking. It was like one of those matches when he turned it on and he went, "Yeah, I saw a wrestling match."
Dude, like
Yeah,
Wardlow specifically, the
Yeah.
damage.
The aftermath, like the second the 3 count hit, I was like, "Ooh, here's Swerve," and I'm right back into it. But just
here's
the
the
match,
star.
bell to bell, I was just like, it could have been the third match on Raw. Like we've had our 20-minute impromptu opening segment, and some interesting stuff happened, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna take the dog out and go to the bathroom really quick.
Yeah, I think for me, I liked it because I was like, this is a great win for Joe. Joe looks amazing, and this is all building towards Swerve. But I really do get that. Like, I was super excited for this match when Wardlow won because I was like, I like Joe, I like Wardlow, I want this to be a good Haas fight, and to me it was. But I also get like, it was the cool off match, and it didn't pick up until it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I liked the debut. Yeah, the world title match, not the best. It was still a fun match. Jericho, I'm for now not minding. Um, I'm gonna call it tolerating +2. Uh, so yeah, not a bad episode. Looking forward to Collision. I don't have the card right in front of me,
So
but
I have some stuff, just what they kind of announced. You have Kyle O'Reilly versus Brian Keith. I think I don't know much else. I don't know
oh,
about
we got
much
that
else.
the women's tag.
Oh yeah, Deanna Peraza's got to find a partner, so that'll be there. Uh,
We got to get Collision a little more important.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
House of Black's gonna do something, maybe. I don't know.
maybe Mark. I don't care.
Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff
That I
Jarrett
want.
single-handedly pins every single. It's going to be a 3-on-1 elimination match. Jeff Jarrett pins them all. He's like, "Yeah, I'm the star of Collision." I'd be there for that.
Stack 'em
In the
and
middle of a gauntlet match.
It's
yeah.
Jericho, the entire House of Black, and then Osprey is the final contender, and Jarrett still wins.
100 Jeff Jarretts.
Not
Mhm.
enough, Jeff Jarrett.
Come on. Jeff Jarrett v Sting and TNA. That was some epic stuff back in the day.
Ooh, that was good stuff. Yeah, they had some good ones in WCW too. Uh, yeah, cool. Um, yeah, everyone out there, don't forget to elbow drop that like button and power bomb that subscribe
Ugh.
button. And leave us a comment. We really want to hear from you. Uh, Let us know what you think about our show, about wrestling, about any specific feud or storyline or character, new signing, departure, anything. We want to talk about it and we want to bring it up on the show too. So, yeah, let us know what you have on your mind. And Chad, there's something out there where you listen to podcasts. How's that work?
Yep. If you sitting down and watching us on the YouTubes is too much of a chore, but you want to like hit us up on your commute while you work out, while you fall asleep, check us out on any of the audio things, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, etc. Wherever any audio podcast is found, we'll be there. So yeah, check us out. Also, give us a review stuff. We got to get them numbers up.
Mm-hmm. Chad and
Yeah.
I, to add on, Chad and I are going to start a WWE weekly recap or a WWE e-cap, if you will. And we're going to start doing those. I
Ooh.
thought of that like 2 days ago. I was like, I need to bring this up, and I just forgot to. But we're going to do a WWE
Now I
cap.
gotta change the thumbnail. Thanks a lot.
And we're actually going to record it right after we're done with the Dynamite. So it's not going to be a full podcast. It's going to be about 10, 15 minutes, just running down the big stuff. And especially with Mania season right around the corner.
Ooh,
Good
it's
golly,
hot.
it's getting hot. So tune in for that. It's not just AEW around here, as much as AEW is great.
Yeah. We got WWE content to bring to you too. Uh, yeah, we understand. I mean, as much as I want AEW to be the monopoly juggernaut wrestling company, and really, I wish WCW What If really won the Monday Night Wars, but let's not get into that. But yeah, you guys watch WWE out there. I've accepted that. But
They have fans. Can you believe it? Ugh.
I think overall there are more people who watch WWE, and I've accepted that. So we're gonna. Hey, Chandler is a lifelong WWE fan. Chad is pretty up there. I'm not so much, but yeah, they're gonna bring you some fun goodies to tantalize your brain with.
We'll even talk about NXT. We'll be like one of 3 podcasts that talks about NXT.
Hey, Black and Gold era was actually some of my favorite wrestling of all time. But I've actually been having a hard time keeping up on this one. Although here it's very good.
Well, yeah, back then it was basically like the super indie show. Like it
Yeah.
was like Adam Cole, Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, like, well, just Ricochet, Malachi Black. Let me pull all these people all in. Da, 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 da. Beautiful indie show. Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, like Drew McIntyre came back through NXT.
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Like, God, we can go on all day about how cool and baller old NXT was, but we're not in that time. We're with the better NXT now. Okay. I watched one segment where it was like the typical comedy segment of, oh, you lost a bet, you got to go clean up a farm. And it ended with the girl falling in a thing of water. And that was it. So I was like, oh, what a bunch of heels. It's the best.
Cool. I love it. But yeah, I think that just about does it. I think we covered everything we want to relay to you out there in YouTube land. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll have our collision review coming to you probably Tuesday morning. But yeah, thank you again for watching. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Chandler, for doing the show with me.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Uncle Dave.
Oh no,
I'm not gonna
no.
call you that.
Not
I'm
that
gonna
one.
call you that.
Not that one.
Cut it. Cut it. End the feed. Bye bye.
But yeah, I'm not Uncle Dave. If anything, I'm the Daver.
Ooh.
Cool. Well, yeah. Thank you all for joining, and look forward to our collision review coming up. Thank you very much. Have a good night, and bye.
Peace.
Bye bye.